Hi everyone, this video is on function composition. To understand what function composition is, we first have to talk about what a composite function is. And this is a function that's made from other functions. So basically, it's a function within a function. For example, if I'm given f of g of x, and we use this notation, the open circle, to represent composition. If it was a closed circle, it would represent multiplication. Okay, so very different operations that we're using here. So f of g of x is like saying that g of x is within f of x. So we write that like f of g of x. So whatever expression you're given for g of x goes into the expression for f of x. So g of x goes within f of x. And then same thing for the other way around. G of f of x would mean that f of x goes into the function for g of x. And we'll look at some examples on the next slide. This problem says let f of x equal x squared and g of x equal x minus 3. And we're to find each value. Number 1 says f of g of 5. So that means that 5 has to go into g of x first and then into f of x. So we think about that like f of g of 5. So we're going to figure out what g of 5 is first, and then we can put that into the function for f of x. So g of 5 is, we're going to use this expression, x minus 3. So instead of x, I'm going to replace it with 5. So 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So now I can go back and replace that g of 5 with 2. So f of this 2 here. Okay, so now I'm going to solve the function f of x when x is 2. So equals x squared, which is not, so I'm using this one. It's not x anymore, it's 2, so 2 squared, which is equal to 4. So my final answer is 4. So f of g of 5 is equal to 4. Number 2 says f of g of negative 2. So that means g of negative 2 is going to go into the function for f of x. So that is f of g of negative 2. And so we got to figure out what g of negative 2 is first, and then it'll go into the function for f of x. So g of negative 2, and I'm using this expression again, x minus 3. So instead of x, it's negative 2. So negative 2 minus 3 is equal to, when I have negative minus something else, that means I'm going more negative. So negative 2 minus another 3 is going to be negative 5. And now I'm going to replace this into the function for f. So f of negative 5, which is equal to, and I'm going to use this function, x squared, but it's not x anymore, it's negative 5. So I'm going to say negative 5 squared. And the reason why I put parentheses around that is because it's not just 5 squared, it's negative 5 squared. So it's negative 5 times negative 5. And that is positive 25. So this goes up here. My value for f of g of negative 2 is 25.